Hey people, introduce Fr33man, Meridian High City blue team. Nurlando Calrissian plays a plague champion, starts off range combat with his damage over time bolter, can get melee weapons, some decent utility and support, can build turrets and repair, but is very slow. This is the awesome Death Guard elite scheme. Alongside Triumph is a force commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. This is the Salamander's elite scheme. What is that thing on his back? No idea. And rounding off this blue team, Fr33man 1800 as a Lord General, fights range combat, really good defense and support capabilities, and begins with a retinue of stormtroopers they can add to throughout the game. Red team, a whole bunch of Eldar. First up, Dark Heretic is a Warp Spider Exarch teleporting commander that fights range combat, some really good capping and harassing with some awesome control abilities too. He's probably going to teleport out here. Here comes the Lord General, there he goes. And alongside, Cultured Boy is an Eldar Farseer support commander that fights in melee combat, lots of great buffs with some debuffs and control abilities too. And rounding off the red team is Hooper, bearer of the word, also known as SuperHooper, plays an Eldar Warlock melee commander that can leap into combat, awesome disruption and mobility, can also tank damage and deal some decent damage too, this guy. Single cap early on for the blue team. Howling Banshees moving in. His tactical marines need to be very careful here and instantly back the hell away when they see them. Scouts moving in, shotguns on the way. Sentinel has stomped and thus forced off some Howling Banshees who do lose a model, but they're only going to lose one, which is not too bad. The other Banshees coming in for a flank. This could be dangerous. The stomp has been used, but he saw Triumph coming in behind and retreats out the Howling Banshee. So blue team should be able to creep forward here, cap this southern side and maybe cap up the mid too. There's the force commander creeping forward. Some Nurgle worship from Nurland. The Warlock missing with his destruct. You see the damage over time from the Plague Champion. Being tied up, the Plague Champion does pathetic melee damage in his default loadout with his bolter. It's like 8 damage per hit or something. It's bad. Forced off, some Nurgle worship and double CSM for Nurland. Pushing forward, needs to get behind cover so he can outshoot these Dire Avengers. Looks like he's going in for melee in fact, but here comes a Shuriken and that should spell the end of this engagement. Nurland is staying in, trying to get around, but he loses a model, and this is going to switch to these guys and be very, very painful, so he needs to retreat both of them out. Raptors on the way and Rangers up for both Heretic and Cultured Boy. Sniper infantry, burst damage from long range. These guys can actually disrupt from long range as well with kinetic pulse. Big changes to these guys, of course, in 2.3.1. Now shoot more often, but do less damage per shot. Bang, there you see it on the Lord General. He has his medical sergeant, can give out medical packs, very, very useful for your allies. Not very useful for giving to commanders really, since they have a big health pool and a single entity, but giving them to squads is great. Sentinel getting some repairs. Maybe double Rangers from Dark Heretic.
You are losing us a victory point.
Going after this Sentinel at the moment. We have a Shuriken Cannon on the field for Cultured Boy, and he's going mid with it. Meanwhile, Dark Heretic, is this Dark Heretic? Yes, capping up the south side. Warp Spider X up with the heavy gauge Death Spinner up. Such an annoying weapon, and would be pretty bad news for all of these enemy commanders, especially the Plague Champion, if you can catch this guy. Already pretty slow moving around. If he gets caught by the heavy gauge Death Spinner, he can go down pretty fast, because not only does it knock you down, there's a hell of a lot of damage as well. Raptors jumping onto the Shuriken. There's a lot of Dire Avengers there, but no risk of a grenade spike. None of these guys with their aspect yet. We do have one on the way. They're going to get a grenade and go for the spike. I think we have double grenades up, in fact. So a good thing those Raptors retreated out there. Blue team pegged back. Devastator's on the field for Triumph, trying to solidify this central position and control those Howling Banshees, of course. Merciless Witchblade on the field for the Warlock and Champion's Robe. So he's going to be pretty damn annoying early on. Retreats out though. Oh, he didn't have any grenades, that's why. He has some now. He has all 3 in fact. Or did he have some grenades? I think he did. I thought he was going to throw one on the Devastators, but he didn't. Blue team now attacking from 2 angles. Shuriken struggling to cover all approaches, but Banshees in amongst some Chaos Space Marines here using their war shot, but these guys with Eternal War standing up to melee combat there. now forcing melee combat on the Dire Avengers. Chaos Space Marines doing very good melee damage for a predominantly ranged unit. They can become a fully specialised melee squad in tier 2, of course, with the Mark of Khorne. 4-1-2, 4-3-5, triple cap for the Eldar, and down goes the Plague Champion, getting way too close to this Shuriken Cannon and Guardian Weapon team. Here come the Chaos Space Marines taking shots from Rangers, but don't lose a model and are forced to retreat. Assault Marines on the field for Triumph, jumping in. A bit of a hasty jump there, I think. Only scouts to back them up. And Devastator's behind. I think he should have waited for this jump. There's that heavy gauge Death Spinner actually knocking down 2 models there, since one of them was falling back into the other with a domino effect and knocking them down. Triple Dire Avengers now flanking inwards from Hooper. Try to get in position for a grenade on retreat there. Maybe scouts are wiped. There's the Rangers coming in with those quicker shots, helping to take them out. Triumph not paying attention there. Bunker is dropped by Freeman, something that all of the Imperial Guard commanders can do in tier 1, and they can upgrade this thing to be a medical bunker or a repair bunker, and also give it some nasty explosive booby trap action. Here come triple Dire Avengers around the back from Hooper. This could be incredibly nasty for these Devastators, but he panicked a little bit, and I think should have bided his time a little bit more. You got to try and wait until something retreats, and then you can judge the path and chuck your grenades, but he just chucked them and retreated out. 3-2-3, 4-3-5. Much easier said than done, of course. Didn't want to lose too many models to those tactical marines, I should say, and that Force Commander. Here come Raptors and double CSM behind them. Big push here from Nurland. Triumph doesn't seem to be wanting to help. Now he's moving up. Grenade is dodged. It's a big engagement. Banshee's catching the Raptors, and that is nasty. Ouch. Needs to be so careful using these Raptors with those Banshees around. You can support them with Touch of Nurgle, of course, and a Superman is jumping in. Unfortunately, you can only use Touch of Nurgle on Chaos allies, not allies from other factions. So you can't put it on these allied Assault Marines, for instance, which would be great. 298, 435. Both of those blue commanders will get the XP for reviving the Plague Champion. And that's not bad. They both leveled up from it. Sniper rifle on the field for the Lord General. 292, 435. Assault Marines taking shots from Rangers, who are now backing off for some reason. Now taking shots at the Lord General himself, and Assault Marines do not lose a model. The bunker is a medical bunker, you can tell, because of the green health regeneration hexagons below the feet of nearby infantry there. That's affecting those tactical marines and Assault Marines and Devastators. The Chaos stuff a bit too far away to be effective. Plague Champion has the Mucus Discharge, really good value accessory now at just 25 power, but he only healed one of the models there. Trying to flank around the Shuriken. We've seen Nurland be quite aggressive fighting the Shurikens, haven't we? Trying to get close, trying to outnumber them, really. Plague Champion, really good fighting against suppression in general, since he still fires his weapon at the same rate and moves pretty quick. Down go those Devastators. Wow, was gonna say the Plague Champion could just stand and outshoot a setup team in cover a lot of the time, but those Devastators got absolutely wrecked. Again, Triumph not paying attention. There's 2 losses now that were, I think you could easily class as unnecessary losses, and this is usually what kills you in a team game, those unnecessary losses. Dark Creepers on the field doing a lot of damage to those Devastators with their Inferno damage, and they have their aspect, increasing their damage even more. Warlock is now in amongst the Marine lines. Plasma Devastators getting chopped up. These guys now have the melee resistance aura, of course, as do all Devastators and Havocs. Ouch. Assault Marines losing their sergeant. That was pretty unlucky, and this is a really good push by the red Eldar team, set up by those Reapers, helping to absolutely decimate those Devastators. It's all picking off mid. Raptors jumping, but not quite jumping on the Shuriken. Jumped right in front of it. Wow. Kinetic Pulse knocking down. Was that 5 models, 6 models? That was nuts. Nurland trying to push slowly with his Plague Champion supported CSM. He can support them with that Mucus Discharge. Where are his Heretics though? Oh, they're on capping duty. We might see a Nurgle Shrine mid. They already have a bunker, but a Nurgle Shrine's giving off those big heal bursts can be very, very useful. And the Warp Spider Exarch stealing the bunker. This is why nobody likes you, Mr. Warp Spider Exarch. He has enhanced warp jump generator. Freeman going for a Manticore, very good choice on this map in general. Much like those refinery maps with the massive engagements mid, the Manticores can make a huge difference. We have the Chaos Dreadnought on the field for Nurland. He might get the Mark of Tzeentch for this thing, because that Frenzied Barrage is awesome. Banshees have done reasonably well. They're hanging back and counter-initiating, which I think is how you need to play them on this map. But look at this. I was hoping we'd see these guys. These are the Salamander Stern Guard veterans. Don't they look awesome? Apparently it's a scheme based on a very old Salamander scheme from an old Warhammer book that the modeler found. They look awesome in that yellow with those black stripes. But we have a massive engagement here. Banshee's making a run for it, trying to initiate with a Warshout. Where's the Warshout? There it is. Suppressing the Plasma Devastators and a bunch of other stuff, but they are then mobbed. But they opened up just an avenue of attack for the red team. Down goes the Eldar Farseer, is that? Yes, I think it is. Force Commander with his Thunderhammer now. Manticore getting pretty close. Banshees, I think, thought about going after it. Wraith Guard on the field for Hooper. Really good choice on this map. And in 3v3s in general, we do see the Mark of Tzeentch for Nurland's Chaos Dreadnought. Are we going to see a Bright Lance? No. Wraith Guard will do very good damage to a vehicle if they can hit it. But looks like Nurland is forcing melee combat. Now he turns. We might see the Wraith Guard turn and get a volley off. Not quite. Tempest Missile Launcher goes off from the Dark Creepers. Some good disruption on demand there. A little bit of damage. Another bunker going up. I assume this is going to be a repair bunker to support the Manticore and that Sentinel, which does have its missile launcher. So it's going to be a good job hanging back there, firing away. Bit of damage from those Dark Creepers. Ouch. Assault Squad losing a model. Force Commander has the new Tier 2 Sacred Standard. Costs 50 power. So this thing is not cheap, but you can get it in Tier 2. It's a constant 25% damage buff to all of your staff and your allies units, and that will raise to a 40% damage buff if the Force Commander goes down in battle, which some players try to use tactically. Just run into action, smack as much stuff as you can around and go down and get that big damage buff. Stone Guard veterans backing away. They have the Hellfire rounds loaded in as you'd expect against triple Eldar, I suppose. 217, 335. The fight over the mid has been raging, and it's blue right now. A 2-1 for the blue team. Manticore Strike, the first one I've actually seen going off, doesn't do a whole lot. It seemed like the momentum was with the blue team for a second there, but his Banshees are running way into enemy territory. What are they doing? Dark Heretic, I think, has completely forgotten about those ladies. Dark Creepers getting wrecked by something, and that Chaos Dreadnought is acting as a very good damage magnet, and Banshees going all the way into base before Heretic realizes they should be able to get away unless this Force Commander can catch this one. They are very quick, of course, so in retreat they are incredibly quick. And looks like they might get away. Maybe not. Freeman is in retreat path, but that is the Exarch, and she has a decent chunk of hit points, so she does get away. D-Cannon on the field for Dark Heretic. In fact, she has two of them covering mid. That's going to be nasty. Can stop caps with the Singularity and generally just do a bunch of damage. Mark of Khorne CSM on the field for Nurland, his other CSM squad with Mark of Tzeentch. 217, 292. Not often you'll see a player go for both marks on double CSM. Usually they double up to try and intensify the effect. Blue team sitting pretty mid now with bunker support, repair bunker support that is. A pretty useful Force Squad at level 3 with that Sacred Standard. Need to try and control this guy. Well, I don't want him running around and buffing everything. 217, 262. Nurland now taking a look at red team's natural. Looks like he decapped it. In fact, it is taken back for a 2-1. Now the red team pushing back on this north side. He might need some support. That Manticore firing. Full retreat out from Hooper. and I don't think that was quite necessary. Does have aspects, so can fleet away from Manticore's strikes, but he does avoid most of the damage by retreating. 217, 241. Are we going to see a fight in two areas here? It's the Markov Zinch Dreadnought forcing melee combat on the Wraith Guard. Wraith Guard pathetic in melee combat, and they lost their Warlock there, would stun them briefly, as you saw. Ouch. Dark Creeper's eating a plasma cannon to the neck in mid and losing a model or two. Yes. Still the 2-1 for blue. They are holding on. But can they hold on for long? Because red team players are all tier 3 now. So, no. Hooper's not tier 3, in fact. But we might see an Eldritch Storm soon-ish, which could wreck faces. Oh, Banshee stealing the garrison. The bunker, I should say, and taken out by the hidden explosives, which instantly kills any unit inside. That was nasty. 217, 210. Was it hidden explosives, or was it the Sentinel just destroying the bunker? I'm not sure. Because if you destroy a garrison, any unit inside is instantly killed as well. Bunch of webway gates up, as you can see. One down here too. South is all red, north is all blue, but red team have lost their natural VP. The Plague Champion goes down though in that take. Does he still have his bolter? Yes, he does. 217, 193. Nurland continues to push here, and SuperHooper doesn't really have much staying power in the field, does he? Apart from his Wraith Guard, which are off the field at the moment, coming back up. He needs some help over here. I suppose Eldar in general don't have a lot of staying power, especially before you get to tier 3. 217, 177. You need to try and use your mobility, which is not easy always in 3v3 fights. Markov Khorne CSM in retreat. This guy's almost level 3. That Frenzied Barrage does a fair chunk of damage and suppresses. As you can see, their Wraith Guard cannot be suppressed, which is why they are not bothered about that kind of thing. What is this? A Singularity? Yes, not quite close enough to anything to drag it in. We do have some Vanguard veterans from Triumph, who only has 3 units on the field, but his team is firmly in control of mid at the moment. 2 bunkers there. Are they both repair bunkers? I don't see any health regen. Wow, Wraith Guard. Did they take that bunker down in one volley? 217, 150. Bunkers did get their health reduced a few patches ago. Down goes a Sentinel. Rangers trying to cap here under infiltration, or at least decap, I suppose. But that plasma cannon is ground targeted on mid, and the Manticore is wasted in the end. Are they going to take out the plasma cannon? Yes, they do, and that will be satisfying. It was the Warp Resurrection that did so. Look at this, has the Shimmer Orb. A fantastic capping tool on maps like this. Leman Russ on the field now for Freeman. Land Raid Redeemer for Triumph. He's lost a lot of units in this game. He lost Devastators, lost Scouts, lost those Plasma Devastators just then. Did he lose anything else? I'm not sure. But now he has a big, fat, and very useful tier 3 unit on the way. 200, 150 is a single cap, and Nurland continues to push the red team natural, as fully upgraded Raptors, fully upgraded Markov Khorne CSM, as a Plague Champion with the Armor of Pestilence and Mucus Discharge. We might see this guy get his Plague Fist, since that's an awesome capping tool and an awesome defensive tool. It's great for using to support your ranged blobs. You can use your Pestilence Strike, protecting them from range damage, and then run in your Plague Champion. 189, 150. Manticore Strike goes off, forcing some Eldar units to retreat. 189, 150. It's a 1-1. Red team will get the 2-1 though, taking a natural back. I feel like they've suffered a little bit mid since Nurland was pushing that natural so much, but he was right to do so, I think. Touch of Nurgle on some Heretics there. Not the best result. He does force off the Banshees, but didn't achieve a whole lot else for 150 red. Leman Russ pushing forward. Wraith Guard will do a lot of damage, as will the D cannon to that Leman Russ. Wow, it's gonna go down. Bright Lance getting some rear arm hits. Got way too close with that Leman Russ. The Frenzied Barrage just a little bit too late. Well, I suppose it wouldn't have saved it anyway, would it? Singularity. Very nicely placed. Going to drag some of those guardsmen in at least. Wow, got loads of them and bits of them everywhere now. 180, 150, 2-1 now for red team. Did a really good job to get themselves back into this game. There were double bunkers, manticore, all sorts of stuff there. Here comes Nurland though, continuing to push this north side. Raptors jumping in, suppressing units when they land. Knockback there from, what was that? It was a fire prism. Look at the range that fire prism had. That is crazy. 65 range on those guys. Uh-oh, pinning fire, and Raptors are wiped out. Really good utility skill that those Dark Creepers have. Suppression on demand, always incredibly useful. And we do see the Plague Fist on the Plague Champion. There is the Pestilent Strike, but he's taking on a lot here. 154, 150. Triumph with some Terminators now supported by that Land Raider Redeemer. Here it is. Basically a mobile base for the Space Marines. You can retreat back to it. You can reinforce off it. And he has some pretty damn tasty short-range weaponry as twin-linked assault cannon you see at the front there, which is pretty long range, good anti-infantry damage. Has a multi-melter on top and these two pretty gnarly flamestorm cannons on the side sponsons. Not to mention the frag assault, which is one of the best abilities on a super unit, I think. Anything that gets close to the front of it just gets absolutely wrecked. And you get a knockback on that as well, so it's useful for knobs and stuff. He's gone for a heavy flamer on his Terminators. Was not expecting that. Thought for sure we'd see Cyclone Missile Launcher losing a model. 2 plasma grenades, and here come Howling Banshees. Terminators having to teleport away. They cannot retreat, of course, but they can reinforce off this Land Raider Redeemer. And Banshee's getting a bit too close. Vengeance rounds loaded in. 40 Stone Guard veterans. There's an Imperial Abyss from Nurland catching a D-cannon and wiping it out. Are these Vanguard veterans going to get away with that or lost none of the art? They might be wiped out. In fact, 7 hit points on 2 models. Are you kidding me? Eldritch Storm now. What? Did he drop it on his own stuff? I think he just dropped it on those guardsmen, trying to get the Lumen Rust, which seemed to be able to avoid it completely. Some crazy stuff. 2 nukes, and blue team should be capping mid now. Stone Guard veterans should be capping. They have the 50% faster capping trait, but it's actually the Chaos Space Marines capping. Triumph not paying attention. There we go. Now he's trying to cap. But here comes the Fire Prism to knock them off it. Look at that range. Perfect range for this map to shoot from the edge there onto the central VP. Vanguard veterans switching to their Power Fist gives them a 50 DPS heavy melee weapon. Force Commander trying to cap. 102, 150. Plague Champion in retreat. Still putting pressure on that VP. They seem to have done a lot better job of that, blue team, thanks to Nurland, putting pressure on the natural. We've seen very little pressure here. Oh, there is a setup team inside a bunker. That might be why. 102, 138. Should the Eldar team be making a bit better use of their mobility here, or at least trying to, by going after that. I mean, if SuperHooper ran his Wraith Guard up to that, he could take it down pretty quickly. Manticore striking in the background there. Massive engagement mid. Red team trying to cap. There's the Eldar Farseer trying to do so. Look at this very, very juicy Eldritch Storm target right here. I think that's why Triumph has not brought his Land Raider Redeemer forward at all. He knows they're so vulnerable to Eldritch Storms. 99, 134, the great unclean one on the field for Nurland. Super unit for Chaos is a greater demon, so you can worship this guy. There we see it. Giving him big health and energy regeneration, and giving him extra health regeneration, of course, from Nurgle worship these days. It looks like he's going to lead the line, soak up a lot of damage. Taking a lot of damage though. Wow. It's taken insane amounts of damage. Those Dark Creepers really laying on the damage at level 3. There's a Basilisk creeping barrage. Assault Marines jumping in. Are they going to go after the Fire Prism? Looks like no, they're not. They're running right past it. Massive, massive push by blue team. It looks to be a pretty good one. Maybe not. Uh-oh. Phase shift into an Eldritch, but he used it way too early. I think I'm not. I think that was someone else's Eldritch, and he teleported into phase shift without knowing it was going off. If that was his Eldritch, that was completely wasted. 61 VPs left for the blue team. Look at this engagement here. Double fire prisms there from someone. What player is that? That is Dark Heretic all blue. And Cultured Boy has another one. The Land Red is taking a lot of damage here. But an excellent push by blue team. Initiated by the Grey and Clean one. Soaked up so much damage in the initial stages and let everything else push. Terminator's very far in enemy territory here, trying to force melee combat on a fire prism. Have they already used their teleport? I think they have, and that is a really bad idea from Triumph. Are they going to get away? Looks like he is going to get them out of there just about. Pretty lucky to do so. I think the fire prisms did not chase. They're still being shot up here, down to one model. 61, 110. Nurland trying to save them with a Breath of Nurgle heal, but they do go down. He should have got them into the Leman Russ, I suppose. It was his own Leman Russ as well, so he can't blame it for moving away. 61, 102. The action does not stop in mid. There's a Manticore Strike, which is almost completely missed everything. He hasn't done a lot with those, has he? There's that Nurgle Vomit thing. I always forget the name of that. Forcing off a bunch of Eldar, and Nurland might be able to decap here with his Mark of Corn CSM, and that will be a double for blue team. 61, 90. Avatar of Cain on the field for Dark Heretic. Those fire prisms doing a really good job, but can they stay alive? You don't have those defensive structures as an Eldar player. Much better field presence from the blue team. I think that's winning them this game. They have that Leman Russ. They have that Land Raider, I'm sorry. And they had those bunkers for a lot of the game as well. Have been able to build off of that. Chaos Predator for Nurland. He's still capping with Marco Zinc CSM now, level 3. His Mark of Corn guys are level 4 with 2196 hit points. These guys did get a health increase in 2.3.1 up to 20% there. You see it there from 15. I think that's right. 61, 71, double cap for blue. Really good play there from Nurland. Can he get his Chaos Predator out of trouble though? Avatar taking some hits. Still kicking off mid. Down goes the Force Commander. That's going to give that 40% damage buff to his nearby allies. Can red team decap mid? Can they hold their natural? Perhaps more importantly, Hooper is taking it back, so it will be the 2-1. Going to see a Marco Zinch Chaos Predator. Maybe try and hunt down those fire prisms with it. But these fire prisms are done really well, and they're all level 2. Manticore Strike going off. Blue team looking pretty good here. But things can change very, very quickly in a 3v3. I think that phase shift blocking the damage of the Eldritch really, really hurt them, because that would have heavily damaged and stunned the Land Raider, which might have helped them take it down. The Avatar taking tons of damage. There's a Wailing Doom, but was it worth it? Look how much damage he took trying to do that. Plasma Gun Guardsmen weighing in with their Plasma Gun fire. 61, 43. Red team desperately trying to find a way in, but they're not putting any pressure on this natural whatsoever. 61, 43. Bunch of Eldar in retreat, and we've seen that a lot, haven't we? SuperHooper mass retreating his stuff, just getting them out of position a few too many times. There's a Shimmer Orb mid. Level 5 Warp Spider Exarch trying to cap with it. The Shimmer Orb gives you full immunity to range damage, or gives anyone inside full immunity to range damage, which is why the Plague Champion is trying to break his head off with his Plague Fist. He can't quite finish the cap. There's a phase shift though. I thought he was down there. Very odd. 61, 43. So 1-to-1 cap. And this running battle for mid just keeps on raging on. Look at the armies that the red team have. They have really strong armies, but can they break through? Still no pressure on this. Dark Heretic needs to make a run for that VP. Needs to do it. Needs to try and peel some of these blue units off to defend there. has a lot of good stuff, needs to go over to that VP. He's making a big mistake not doing so. The reason why blue team are in this position is because Nurland has put a lot of pressure on that VP. Well, part of the reason. Wraithguard losing their leader, which stuns them. Mark of Corn CSM in there, might go down here. There's an orbital and a Manticore strike. Wraithguard in trouble. SuperHooper eating a nuke. That D cannon might wipe out. There's an Eldritch Storm on mid. Takes down the Plague Champion. Doesn't achieve a whole lot else. That was a wasted nuke, I think. If they could have pushed towards this and used the Eldritch, that would have been awesome. Just desperately trying to stop the cap there. Sternguard Veterans now capping duty up to level 3. Ray on P1 very, very slowly healing up off that Nurgle worship. 56, 43. Still no. Oh, look at this. We do see the Warps for Exarch making an attempt on the VP. He's going to take it as well with the Shimmer Orb. He does take it. A double cap now for red. Blue team need to react quickly to that. Here comes some guardsmen and they are going to take it back quickly. 38-43. There's another singularity. Not quite quickly enough to throw that stuff off the cap. It's a 2-1 now for red. Fire Prism taking shots. Level 3 Fire Prisms. Now they've done so well. All of them level 3. Just took down a Chaos Predator there. 31-43. Blue team looking a little bit thin in their armies. Red team have the good chance here. They don't have any Eldritches though, which they need, I think, to try and push that Land Raider. Are the Fire Prism going to creep forward and have a go at it? Avatar taking tons of damage. Great and Kliwon also backing away. 31-43. Lord General level 7 has the stabilizers, trying to keep some pressure on mid, but goes down. It's the Farseer decapping, and there's a Basilisk Keeper Barrage knocking the Rangers off the cap. Hits them again. Blue team retain mid, and they're getting a natural back. But here comes Dark Heretic. Now he knows to push that VP. Force Commander revives the Lord General. Does that level him? He's almost level 10. Wow. 31-43. 1-to-1 cap. Who can cap this central VP? Dark Heretic putting pressure on their natural though with the Shimmer Orb. Looks like he's going to be able to cap it because those heavy weapon squad models can't damage him whatsoever from that bunker. Brett and Kliwon, I think, needs to get back to base because he's healing up so slowly here. Uses his foul snare. Manticore strike on mid. Manticore will be really bad news for those Fire Prisms. Blue team taking a natural back. There's an Eldritch on the Land Raider. Can they finish it off now? Fire Prism's going after it, I think. It's stunned. Took a lot of damage. They might be able to finish it off. Surely they can. One more hit. 26 hit points, down it goes. Really good push by the red team. Really good push. That's surely GG. Triumph lost most of his army. Some really sloppy losses early on, and it's cost him. It's carried through and it's cost him. Gonna lose everything, I think. Vanguard veterans, are they gonna get away? They do get away. No, they don't get away. He's lost his entire army. 23-43. There's an orbital. The blue team not too happy about D cannons. You do have some artillery units yourselves, guys. Heavy turret. Down goes a Lehman Russ. And it's going to be a 2-1 for red team. And it's going to be a victory for the Eldar. Wow. Even with Land Raiders and bunkers and Nurland putting tons of pressure on this, they come out with a victory. And that really unfortunate sequence of events blocking their own Eldritch as well. And they still come out with victory. And there's a 2-1, and there is the victory. A double at the end, in fact. Red team taking it. Some complaints at the end from blue team, but they had arguably much better tools to use on this map, so I don't think they complain about much. Some really sloppy losses from Triumph, especially as Terminators teleporting all the way up to try and force melee combat on Fire Prisms is a crazy move on this map. especially against Eldar, who can the switch on that damage in an instant. At a level 5 Plague Champion, at a level 10 Force Commander, Artificer, Teleporter, Power Fist at the end. Level 8 Lord General. Level 8 Warp Speeder, Exarch, Dark Heretic. Took his time going after this VP, but he did in the end, and to great effect with that Shimmer Orb. Cultured Boys Farseer, level 10, had the Doombringer, Armor of the Assyrian at the end, and Spirit Stones. And SuperHooper's, or Hooper of the Words Warlock I should say, almost level 6, with the Witchblade of Kurnus, Providence, and Warp Throat. There you have it, guys. Awesome 3v3, tons of action. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.